Hey everybody, this is Chase Petiche, your local witchy bitch. Today I want to talk about self-worth and receptivity because I've been noticing it coming up a lot with my clients and in myself, and generally that means that it's happening everywhere else too. So let's talk about it. So I want to talk about receptivity. So generally in our culture, we are not taught to receive. We are taught to go out, create, control, and manifest our lives with our mind's eye and with our own human doing, right? And in a patriarchal world culture that is based in a hierarchical model that has dominated this planet for the past 6,000 years or so, there is a hierarchical structure that is innately based in competition, right? Because that's what hierarchy is. There's one person at the top, right? Which means that there is a constant need to feel like we are controlling and controlling our environment. So when we are based in a hierarchy, we feel the need to control our environment, we are very head based. We are rationally based. Okay, we are because we are also simultaneously taught that the feeling realm, the vulnerable realm, the subtle realm of spirit and quiet and yin are a little bit, they're kind of weak, right? Like, we are conditioned in our culture to constantly be doing. And if you're resting, it's like, what's going on with you? Are you sick? Especially men are conditioned this way. I mean, I've seen in my practice there's so very few men that are really, really pushing for self-care, and so throughout time, and we've been pushed to this extreme of these overly dominant yang energies, learning how to receive is an incredibly important piece to recalibrating the energies on this planet and within ourselves. And what this means is that we begin to allow ourselves to become fully present with an energy so that we are able to fully take it in. Because it is the universal pulsating life force energy that is imbued in everything in this planet, that actually, when we surrender and allow it in versus trying to control it and allow it in just when we think we want to, but if we can let our guards down and begin to become one with it, because we are made of it, right? We are it as well. We are just so inside of our heads that we have forgotten. So we're so identified with our thinking minds that we have lost touch with that universal energy that imbues every single thing. And so we've become numb to each other and the natural world, right? So if you're somebody that's like empathic, and which means that you can really feel other people's energy very closely, you are somebody that probably can feel this energy more, but you also can simultaneously get bogged down with the demands of modern living. So I want to go through what it would be like to truly receive something. So lately for me, I've been sitting with my dog and really fully allowing myself to take in and receive his love. Because I think I have always kind of, he'll be licking me and I love him and I'm petting him. I mean, he's like my, everything. And I'm like, I'm looking at him and I'm loving him, but I'm kind of like, okay, because he has to lick me a lot. And now I'm like, I'm going to take this in. I'm really going to take this in. So I've been really like focusing. I focus on his eyes. I focus on his face. I focus on his hair. I focus on all of those parts of him. And I really bring it into my body, which means I am completely and utterly present in that moment. Because there is a true connection between allowing and receptivity and presence. Because we cannot truly let something in fully if we are thinking about something else. Because our attention is distracted. And so we can't actually become one with our being, feeling self and reignite that feeling divine feminine aspect within ourself if we are constantly in this state of chronically thinking, which it's a perpetual state of the Western world. It's what we're conditioned to do because it's based in this idea that the thinking mind is what is successful. It's what is rationality is based in. It's what our buildings are built upon. But we have lost such deep touch with that feminine aspect, that yin energy that is truly about receiving and allowing ourselves to become one with this universal energy, so that when we are receiving, we allow ourselves to fully align with that energy, so then it can be actually begin to we actually become like pulled by it, and it can actually begin to imbue us and lead us in our lives, versus us reacting to the mass culture that's completely imbalanced, right? So it's kind of perpetuating this madness and trying to control our environment from there. If we can rebalance and recalibrate in our own in a being sense, and recalibrate our energy to be in alignment with the natural flow, which this natural flow is the flow that makes our hearts beat. I've said this before. It's what makes the trees grow. It's where the wind is blown. It is, the Native Americans called it spirit. The Chinese call it chi. It is universal life force energy, and we are it. And this energy, actually, if we can begin to receive it and open up to it in the present moment, it can begin to carry us further in our lives and present opportunities to us that we would have never been able to come up with on our own with our own rational mind, because we're reacting from the mass culture. But this energy is so immense and so powerful that we ourselves cannot actually come up with what it actually wants to give us. So this is learning to become one with the divine. So I'm going to challenge you to do this exercise to receive. Do it with something simple. Do it with a piece of chocolate. Do it with a sunset. Do it with a pet, a child. Do it with something that you really want to take in, and you want to let it nourish you. Because when we actually let our guard down and begin to allow things in the present moment, we give our bodies and our nervous systems a complete rest. Because when we're constantly in this state of control and trying to control our environment, we are stressed out. So if we can begin to surrender to the natural flow, which is love, the universal energy, life force energy is love, and begin to be guided by that, our own life force will increase. Because when we are trying to control and we're thinking, we're stressed because we're holding. And that actually cuts off our life force energy. So do this as a gift to yourself, and try to do it just like once or twice a day, but take time with something to really allow it in, fully allow it in. So I also want to just discuss quickly the link to this about with self-worth, because in our culture, women traditionally have been in these giving roles that where they're responsible for the children and the family, and men are as well, but in a different sense. And because women are based in that feeling role, that giving role that is based in this feeling and this empathy, their sense of worthiness and self-worth actually comes from giving. And so they have been almost conditioned out. This is the archetypal mother role. They've almost been conditioned out of learning how to receive, because they almost feel guilty for receiving, because their sense of worthiness comes from giving. So if you can begin to, women and men who are overgivers, to begin to open up your receiving channels, which is allowing yourself to fully enjoy something in the present moment. Yeah, try that. Okay, those are my thoughts for the day. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon.